Bro, dude, you need to tell me the filter that I need to put on this Photoshop so that I don't look so scary. Like,
Oh, no, no, no. I just gotta get you so okay,
you
like,
have to
well,
tell me
I
now.
added the
It's
filter
5
to
episodes
my
too late.
lens. I added the filter to my lens, basically. So the same thing can be done for the Osmo. So that's all I can tell you. I will
It's a
get you
magnetic
one.
shit? Is that
Yeah,
magnetic
it's
shit that goes
magnetic
on top?
shit. Yeah, I got you. I have something that can help like even
Hold
out,
it
or at least
down. Yo,
I'll look
come on.
for.
What the
Yeah, yeah, I
fuck?
got you. I got you. But you know, the first thing I want to ask you, which by the way, welcome to the next episode of the podcast, is
Yeah,
did you
episode
sing
7.
"She's Not You" at your birthday? Which I'm sorry I missed. I hope you had a good time. But
Did I sing She's
yeah.
Not You on my birthday? That's so crazy. Yes. I have done it for science, for you. It
Uh-huh.
was your
Okay.
suggestion. It wasn't my suggestion.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will give credit where credit is due. It was you.
Uh-huh.
Initially, it was good. People were participating. And then all
Uh-huh.
of a sudden, after the second fucking verse or after the chorus, it was just me singing the whole shit. And I didn't want to, I could have easily skipped, but I wanted to see that through, put my foot down. We suggested it. It is a fun song. And everyone was just lame at that moment during karaoke. But outside of that, if we want to get a little bit into the birthday shenanigans, bro, we made the best out of it. And just because I say that, I'm not meaning that like it was bad and then we made it good. It was actually really good. There were little things that I was disappointed in. I have to be honest. It's not because you weren't there. It's not because I know you were busy and it looked like you had fun too. Where did you go?
Oh, we went to Tannersville, New York. So that's like right near like I think the Catskills and
Catskills.
Catskill area. We went hiking. So it was a really fast trip. Like I was only gonna be there for a day because of work and
How many people?
oh, there's 8 of us. So there's like a
8.
big crew of people. Yeah.
Tent or cabin?
Tents actually. So we all
Oh
had like,
shit,
like a
hardcore
whole bunch of
shit.
tents. We've been on a camping trip before, right? And so unlike that time where we went camping, where we could literally stay up to like midnight, like drinking, playing games, and a whole bunch of stuff, like
You can't
around
do
10
that?
o'clock, you can, but at 10 o'clock, it's like, quiet hours. So like you can't really have music playing anywhere. We actually went to sleep kind of early, like 11:30, and I was already like,
Oh my god. But I bet
I
you were
know.
tired.
I was tired, but then also because like when you're there and because there's like no ambient light, so you start feeling a little somnolent like very early. Like I was kind of falling asleep around like 10 o'clock. I'm like, shit, it's not even that late right now.
Did you see the stars?
Saw a little bit of stars, yeah. And then what we did is that we woke up early to catch the sunrise. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, and then after that, made breakfast and then we went on a hike, to like a waterfall area. And it was great. Honestly, it was a pretty therapeutic weekend. Like, I wish we could have stayed a little bit longer, but I think it was a good, like, reprieve from, like, just the daily grind. So,
Hmm.
yeah, man. But, continue what you were saying, like, again, I guess for your birthday, like, I would have loved to have been there, of course. I would have been saying she's, not you if I was, like,
With
like
me, you wouldn't have
yeah.
abandoned me like everyone else in that
I
son of
am
a bitch.
s
I want to initially say that it was like somber or whatever, but it really wasn't. We celebrated. These past couple years, I haven't really celebrated my birthday. Try to keep it low key. Last year, we just did a dinner between us, right?
yeah.
And this year, I hopped on in a piggyback with my friend Ryan. Shout out to him. Happy birthday to him. It was kind of a roller coaster planning it. When you're planning it with somebody else, it's
Yeah.
kind of like 50-50. It's like, it was a little bit of chaos, but we made it. A lot of people who I thought would go didn't go, but a lot of people who I didn't think were going to go actually came. So it was really,
Oh.
really an interesting kind of night. Shout out to the people that were there. Oh my gosh. Shout out to the girls that were there. Keep it freaking held it down. They really, really held down for us. All in all, it was a great and memorable time. Thank you so much. We missed you, Don.
I will make
Yes.
it up to you.
We will do it again. We will do it again for sure.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Actually, I already have a karaoke night lined up already.
Oh my God. When? October what?
17th, October
Oh
17th.
shit. Oh my
Yeah, you
God.
you have been cordially invited to that, and yes, get
Oh
your
Jesus.
I will do She's Not You over there as a test,
You're main. You're gonna be the main this
No,
time. You're gonna hit the
no,
whole
no, no,
shit.
Gabe, look.
Yes. I'll
Your
I'll I will
voc
be there to support you. Background vocals for sure.
Oh
But
my god, guys, like, Gabe, if you don't know already, Gabe actually is a really good singer, and one of my favorite things, and I know this always grinds his gears, is that, whenever he starts singing, I start lowering my voice because I wanna
people
hear
don't
him sing.
sing. It's fucking annoying. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Oh, Cool, dude. No, I'm glad that you had a good birthday. I know, like, so I promise I'll make it up to you. Again, I feel like I've
Yeah.
been profusely apologizing, but again, just like
It's okay. It's okay. I'm glad you had a good time camping.
I did. I think it's one of those things where, and I don't claim to be like a social butterfly by any means, but it's always hard. I feel like in our day and age where like we want to be at everything. And then also we don't have, we we plan things ahead further in advance. And even then, sometimes like you can't make it to these things. And
Of
sometimes I wish I
course.
could just kind of like split myself up to like two or three different dawns pretty much to cover ground, sometimes. Like
Multiple
there have been
man.
times like I've literally like staccato like my schedule or I'll go like, okay, so this one's like a noon event, and then maybe 4 hours later I'll be able to go to like, like let's say a happy hour, and then after that, then like friends like celebrating at nighttime. But there's only so much energy you can kind of like muster for all these things now. So
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Hopefully the best.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
again soon. So, yeah, thank you for asking. It was a good one. The age
Mhm,
that I am is a nice age. Maybe it's the moment, not the moment in my life, but like a little bit of a push to remain focused. This kind of has like a similar feeling than like New Year's. You know what I mean? I will say this because this is what recently popped up into my feed. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I don't mean to turn this from birthday talk to serious talk, and I really don't
no,
want to
not at
stay
all.
long in this pool. But whatever the fuck is going on in Gaza is horrendous. The fact that there's no universities there anymore, that there's no hospitals there anymore is
Mhm.
completely, in my opinion, like this is an ethnic cleansing. Isn't it weirdly ironic? And I have to pick my words carefully because we don't really know who is doing what, who is in charge of what. When you say Israel, the state of Israel, or Jews, that's a very that's a thing that many people don't understand the difference between, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But regardless of that, if you didn't know, isn't it ironic that historically they who were almost fully eliminated are the ones to do this to somebody else, right?
Mhm,
Even though my information could be wrong, just like I said, the Jews, the state, and
mhm.
Israel itself, but it breaks my heart.
I don't attempt to try and at least address these things or answer them because I don't think I understand the situation.
It's really out of our control.
It's really out of our control, but from, like, a human standpoint, I do think that it's basically genocide. That has to stop at some point. I mean, like, sure, you're trying to root out something, but at what cost? How much more must people suffer at the hands of, like, both sides here? Like, I feel like people are just kind of caught up in the mess between 2 sides, and they're both very rooted in their ideals. So, something needs to be done, and, at the end of the day, I know it's kind of heavy stuff. It's terrible, and at the same time, I think, there's a saying before that, like, the triumph of evil. I mean, again, I'm probably messing up, like, the
I know what quote you're gonna say. Yeah.
yeah, but, the
I don't know the
the
actual quote though.
I'm gonna pull up the code just 'cause, like, I'm blanking right now, but the triumph of evil, yeah.
Like complacency, or it's
Yeah,
like the word to do nothing.
is when good men do nothing.
Do nothing. Yeah.
We've talked about this a couple times in a bunch of different podcasts, especially like this whole like, look, at the rate that things are happening, again, like a pandemic, assassination attempts, wars. These things are happening at such an like exponential rate that I feel like whenever something new happens, it's not that I don't care at all. I just feel like I don't even know if like I fully process what happened before, and now we're at like another crisis, another shooting, another event. And, again, it's not that I don't care. It's one of those things where like I'm still trying to figure out what we can do to make it better. And these are things that happen over time, like to educate people, to get people to understand something and to really root out, old ways. It doesn't happen instantaneously. You can't keep on clamoring for people to change or shift over time. This requires a constant process, constant dialogue. I can't convince people who are like 30, 40, 50 years old who are kind of set in their ways to like understand something, but it can happen over time. But you're not going to get someone to like completely like, you know what? I'm going to completely flip my worldview, especially if they feel like they've been through their own set of stuff. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think, kind of thinking about this weekend and just going back to it recently, the one thing that I kind of enjoyed is that so there's a part during the campfire that like my buddy had kind of like wanted to do as like a special treat for us, right? So he had us write on a piece
Ooh.
of paper. basically all the negative things that we wish to do away with. Again, we think about birthdays, we think about like New Year's, and
Oh, that's so
these.
cute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
know where
so,
this is going.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that first half, while we're sitting at the campfire, is to write all the negative things that you kind of want out of your life. You don't have to share with anybody. You crumple it up and you toss it into the fire. He got some pretty cool special paper.
It changed the color of the fire.
Well, there was a part of that,
Oh
but no, this one's
shit.
actually even different, right? This one's actually going to be
Uh-huh.
kind of fancy for you, right? So
Uh-huh.
then he wrote things that you wish to manifest, like things that
Mhm.
you want more for your life, like positive things, right? And then we wrote it on that same paper. We light it up with like a lighter, and it basically just like spark up and then just basically evaporate into thin air.
Boom.
Yeah, I guess I bring that up because kind of thinking about all these things that have been happening as we're going into like the latter half of the year, and my birthday is also coming up, so I'm even thinking about like what's next in my life. It's just trying to manifest and hope that like things do get better and working towards better things, like yeah. I guess that's what I was trying to get at when it comes down to this whole deal. But that was like one of the coolest things about this whole taking a step back this weekend, kind of getting one with nature and then clear our heads for what's next and for what's ahead.
Will you be so brave to share one thing that you
Yes,
wrote to
absolutely.
get rid of?
So
Just one thing. It doesn't have to be a long thing. Just what did you write, bro?
so what I wrote was that I wanted to get over, I guess, like some of the brooding that I feel like I have on myself, that this sense of dwelling on certain things that are just not happening in my life, hoping that that sense of negativity would kind of shift. It's not that I brood all the time. It's not that, but you can't help but feel a little helpless sometimes where like there are things that you want to work on, but you're still stuck on said grind and you haven't had a chance to work on those things that you want to change about yourself. And, sharing something on the positive note is just more of like
You burned that too? You burned that as well?
both. Yeah,
Because
you burn both, but one turns into ash,
oh,
physically
and the other
ash,
one
and the
turns into
other one
what?
evaporates in front of you. I mean, I guess it's technically ash at the same time, but
Okay.
metaphorically speaking, one
Yeah.
dies down and another one just
One
dissipates
goes
and
up.
goes upward.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the whole deal. I know that, yeah, dude, honestly, that's something that I kind of want to do for like the next camping trip. I wouldn't tell it to everybody. No, you would be basically spoiled too, like,
That's
uh,
so yeah, that would be nice. That would be
yeah.
nice.
Also, this is something that I was kind of thinking about too, just because, like, if I were like on a date and like, I really like the person, I'd be like, hey, I got this piece of paper.
Don't
And
do
so,
that. Don't bust that at the fucking date, bro. Do not bust out this dissipating paper during a date. I swear. You're gonna save that when you're camping, bro. That's what makes it beautiful because there's a fire there. Don't do
I
that. I
know.
know where your mind is going. Don't do that.
Oh, come on. It's not even remotely cute. I don't know. Audience, you tell me if that were like kind of a cute thing where if like you were like not really on a date, but like I guess if you're like deeper in a
Deeper in a relationship, yes. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't do
So
it
that
on the
makes more
first
sense.
date or some shit,
Oh
second
no,
date.
no, no, no,
Don't
no,
do it on
not
any
at
of the first
all.
10 dates. How about that?
No, 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 no. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
I
goodness,
thought that
God.
was kind of cool. I was thinking about like, okay, just let me see what else I can add to like my list of cool
Of
little
moves,
tricks.
of
You know,
finishers.
things that help you seal the deal, if you would, right?
Mm. Yeah, I didn't mean to take it down to sad things and sad subjects. I'm glad that you got to experience that really, really cute fire thing, the fire trick. But I
Yeah.
only wanted to bring up things that I was watching recently. And that's what I've been watching a lot on my phone. And surprisingly, I've been watching a lot of movies.
Okay.
I'm in this movie push. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember right now exactly what, because there's just so much. I saw Sicario because I know so many times. Yeah, I knew
Oh,
you would light up.
Sicario is so good. That's
Yeah,
the Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, dude. Honestly, yeah. Sorry, not to like interrupt you. Like I was about to chime in, but yeah, you know.
I know that you love Sicario. That's why I was like, I'm gonna go watch Sicario because I know Don also be talking man shit on Sicario, so maybe I gotta give it a go. I
Yeah.
saw, I forgot what it is, but it's a Filipino horror movie, which is a remake of a Korean horror movie, if I'm not mistaken, where it's like a group of six celebrities. Ah, man, I'm trying to remember the fucking title. But it's a group of six celebrities, three girls, three guys, that literally play themselves in real life, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's their mission to go to get viral moments online. So what they do is they end up doing a live stream of them going into like a haunted asylum.
Mhm.
And the Filipino one was actually, it was good. It was entertaining. And my boy who put me onto the movie, he didn't tell me that it was actually a remake of a Korean movie, and we saw the Korean movie together on Discord. The
Okay.
Korean movie is so much scarier than the Filipino one. That is just something I wanted to point out.
Is it because the budget was lower? You know, the
No,
production quality?
I think inherently, and this may be a weird thing to say out loud,
Okay.
Filipinos screaming out of fear is more comedic than Koreans screaming for their life. When Koreans scream, I am scared. But when Filipinos scream, I want to laugh almost for whatever reason. That sounds so disturbing. But you know what I mean? The movie was more, it had a lot, not a lot of comedic moments. It just wasn't
Yeah.
as scary. You know what's a good telling
Mhm.
of if you're really scared of a movie in horror movies? When you
What?
leave the movie theater or after you watch the movie, you feel like you're still scared. I did not feel that with the Filipino version. I knew everything that was going to happen in the Korean version, but
Yeah.
the Korean version it disturbed me. I was scared after watching it, like, damn, that was really good. Like, what is going on here?
Nah, I mean, I feel like when it comes down to remakes, so I don't know if you ever heard of this one, but it's called Old Boy. And that was a
I've
Korean
never.
movie, and it's a really good like thriller revenge movie, right? Spike Lee remade that movie, like basically in the
Really?
American perspective,
It was probably
and that had
ass because I
like
don't know anything about it.
it was bad because like Josh Brolin, Thanos, if you remember, he was in there, and Elizabeth Olsen, incidentally, who played Scarlet Witch, was also in that movie. And again, that movie tanked at the box office. Like it just wasn't a fraction of the original movie was like. And so, there's not many remakes I think that really do the same justice that the original movie do. So also in a certain way, maybe because we're Filipino, that we kind of find humor in watching like ourselves. I don't know. I mean, there's like a handful of Filipino movies that I've watched and I think are really good, but I don't know. Maybe the horror element doesn't. I Yeah, I don't know if like I have seen like a Filipino horror movie yet that's kind of scared me in the same vein as some of like my
Chop Chop
older.
Lady was scary. You didn't see Chop Chop Lady?
No.
It had like the old intro in the beginning where it's like, this is the police footage. And then they have like the commissioner or some shit make like a statement before the
Yeah,
movie
yeah, yeah,
begins.
yeah.
And I mean, that was scary shit. I think it's like the old effects. Yeah, it had to be more practical. It looked more real. Like it looked like this was like a real shit that happened. Chop Chop
Honestly,
Lady.
dude, I don't think a lot of horror movies today are good. Like, I think it's because there's
Hmm.
so much leaning on CGI that before, I think it had to be practical effects. It had to be done, very artistically. And I think these limitations help you kind of force your imagination to work harder. Ultimately, that's the thing. It's like, you know, the scariest movies to me are the ones that like they weren't the scariest in terms of like gore or blood or vice versa. But I think it's just the idea that gets implanted in your head, and you're just like, it still cycles with you until like literally you're in bed and you're just like, oh fuck, my head kind of twisting around like The Exorcist. That shit still scares me to this day, man. Like it's to this point that like religious horror movies are stuff that I wouldn't really want to subscribe to just because for me, I'm a little superstitious about that stuff. There are forces at work that I don't even want to try to understand or attempt, and
Cool.
so cool, cool. And then you watch Sicario also. What do you like about Sicario?
I like the drama. I was trying
Mhm.
to find kind of like a Zero Dark 30 type of movie, like American
Okay.
Sniper movie.
Did you watch this by yourself or you watched this with like a
By
bunch of people?
myself. By myself.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
I really, really want to rewatch The Departed again. I hope
The
that's still on
Departed's
Netflix.
really
Holy shit.
good. The
I would be
Departed is
pissed
really
off.
good. Which
It
actually
Mhm.
The Departed is a remake of like a movie from Hong Kong called Infernal Affairs. And I would say
Really?
that's so bring up a remake that is just as good. I would probably put that right within like just as good as like, the original movie.
And shout out to Martin Scorsese though, right?
Yeah, he nailed
Good
it. He nailed
directing to
it,
make a
man.
good project.
Dude, it's been like a long week. Feel like there's a lot going on in work. I'm glad I got the reprieve. Again, just trying to make sure that we catch up for like this upcoming break, lock in season for every angle of the work.
I think so too, especially after the birthday. I feel extra motivated to lock in for sure.
Yeah, man. So I guess in my end, I think I briefly told you about playing a game called Clair Obscur, right? I don't know if I ever talked about it in the podcast, but I feel like I've talked to you about this whenever like we've hung
For
out and
sure.
stuff like that. Yeah. So That's probably been the thing that's like recently been on my mind. And I feel like I'm still a little kind of shook it by like the ending of it. I guess kind of going into some deep stuff. Like, so this game kind of revolves around the concept of grief and especially how people cope with grief and like being able to either break the cycle of it or letting go of the forever now. And that sounds very metaphorical. I know I'm not trying to sound like too out there when I say that. But when it comes to video games, I know you play a decent amount, but what video games do you feel like you kind of meld with or enjoy playing?
I would say two video games have probably impacted me heavily,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
God of War
Yeah.
and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh,
And
yeah. Both are actually
yeah,
great titles, dude. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know.
That one I
So,
remember after playing it, just thinking about it
mm,
for, obviously different reasons and a different story that's involved. But those two games will actually impact you if you actually give it the time and effort to get through. In what way did Clair Obscur affect your mind?
I think it's the.
Could you break it down, synopsize it for the people?
Hopefully, this is not too long, but I'll do my best to kind of
No,
condense the whole
kill
thing,
it.
right? The first two acts of the game, you're playing as an expeditioner, and your objective is to end this cycle of death, where progressively, every year that goes by, a certain age group of your civilization, you live in like it's French inspired, so the area is called Lumiere. Every year, the counter keeps on going down. So it started off at 100 at the very first, like, instance. And now you're at 33. So anyone who is of 33 years of age gets killed, pretty
Yeah, yeah. And then
much.
next year it would be
Yeah.
32 and then
Yeah.
31.
Yeah.
So
So
eventually
pretty,
they would get wiped out.
yeah, wiped out. And now people can't even really have kids because it's like, oh, like we, if we have kids now and we get wiped out, our kid will basically grow up as an orphan, right? So the first two acts of the game, you're basically,
Trying to break this curse.
then you realize that this world was just kind of like a fantasy world that was created by like effectively
The
gods, if
powers
you
that
would.
be.
And the powers that be is pretty much this family called the Desandras, right? This world was originally created by one of, the children of the Desandras,
Mhm.
and he died in the fire. This is the last piece of him that's alive, like the last piece of his soul. So he created this world with his sister and everything. And so his mom, in his grief, put herself in this world, recreated her real world in this world,
Mhm.
including her own family, and she refuses to let go of it. You're now left with a choice between, well, do I stay in this world even though I know it's not going to last forever? Or do I accept reality and end this world? And effectively, all the people that you met, the people that you created relationships with, bonds with,
If you escape, you don't get out of this. Like, are you plugged into the Matrix or something in this
it's
game?
kind of like
Where
that. It's kind of like that. Yeah, yeah. So it gets very like deep in that regard, where
why
like
wouldn't you want to be free?
the main characters or like the central focus character of this is someone who's not actually from this world. They're like one of the gods who can create these type of worlds, right? Not to
Okay,
sound
okay.
too confusing. Yeah. The thing is, if you stay in this world, sure, you can keep it alive, but then you physically start decaying. And the thing is, like, at some point you will die, and therefore, if you die, this world will cease to exist, right?
Okay.
But you kind of have this world that's full of life with, again, people who have their own stories, their own narratives, right? So in a way, you want to keep it alive, but then you can't really keep it alive anyway. What are you going to do? Like in that instant, you're going to choose like effectively kind of a genocide, right? So you're kind of caught in between
Wait, so
these
there's
two
no way
decisions.
of escaping?
No, there's a way to escape this world, but the thing is, like, the choice of escaping this world is the end of that world altogether. Like, you can't keep it alive. I hope I didn't confuse you with that,
Not
though. Yeah.
everyone could escape.
Only one person can escape because she's a real person. The other ones are basically kind of fantasy people. Uh,
Oh.
yeah. So I guess to
That kind of
not make
reminds
it
me of
sound
like some AI shit. Like, what is a
it
human? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
so
this is a
it's
creation.
kind of on that same train basically, where like so one of the other characters in here, her name is Mael. She like her brother created this world, right? And again, this world is pretty much just the last piece of his existence, right? So she falls in there too in an attempt to help her family, but then because she also feels guilt for her brother passing away,
Hmm.
and she kind of ends up like living a new life in this world. Now she's kind of
With her
torn between.
brother, who is dead in real life.
Yeah. So
Oh shit, that's like Peacemaker. Peacemaker season 2.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
like
again,
Peacemaker.
there's like some like relations to this. So again, if you ever played like Final Fantasy X or Peacemaker, or again like even the Matrix would technically be like kind of a good example of that, right? And then you are kind of forced out of this world, and then you have this choice of like, well, do I want to live in a fake reality, even
Not
though I would be
everybody wanted to
happy?
be free. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's funny,
Interesting.
I remember watching some videos where people were saying like Cypher was right. I don't know if you remember Cypher
Yeah,
from
yeah,
like the
yeah.
first mission. And so, a lot of people said he was a bad guy, but even his like actor, like, was saying like he was not a bad guy. He was just a human. He had very relatable issues and problems. And if you think about it, like Morpheus was like fanatical, everyone else was believing in this religion in his way of trying to find the one. Morpheus had apparently killed a lot of other people he thought was the one.
Mm,
So, yeah, anyway, I brought all this up because, like I said, this last week I beat it, and like I was just like, damn, like it's a little depressing, but also just kind of thinking about like how we all cope with like grief, whether we are willing to live in like a infinite now, not willing to let go and just stay in that cycle, or do we tear off the band-aid and just try to move forward regardless of like the crappiness of it.
mm.
The ending that I chose was that you had
You
to
can
let
choose
go.
an ending.
Yes. And
Oh,
so
there is no definitive ending. It's
no,
how
and
you want it
that's
to end.
and I think that's kind of the beauty of certain
That's
mediums, right?
sick.
Yeah, you get to choose how it ends, but it wasn't an easy choice in the sense
What
of
did
like,
you
well,
choose?
I chose that like she would go back to the real world pretty much. Like you
Effectively
force her
killing
effectively killing off everybody because
Zion.
the thing is she would basically stay in that world, but she will eventually die. And again, this whole simulation, she would never kind of really recover from it. Versus like if you force her out, and again, that's like a very like long-winded debate to talk about, but by having her out of this world, she can actually properly heal. Because at the end of the day, this really was about their story. And it's just kind of crazy. You spend 2 acts spending so much time bonding with these people, and then you realize that this whole story is actually about them, and everyone in this are just basically kind of like casualties of like this whole grief and trauma that this family has gone through. And
Yeah, of
it's
them trying to
crazy.
recover and trying to
Yeah,
find
man.
peace in the
Uh,
grief. I get you.
yeah,
I
and
get you. You know, if I were to say, if I were to play this game with everything that you told me, I would have made the same decision. For as much as it is sad, it reminds me of a lot of things. It reminds me of a episode in Black Mirror, the latest season. I forget. She's a very talented actress, but she go. Did you see the entirety of Black Mirror, the latest season?
no,
Yeah,
no, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
but not to get too much into it, but she's an actress there. She plays an actress there, and it's the
Hmm.
future, and it's like the future of making movies where she gets
Yeah.
plugged right
Hmm.
into herself in a remake of a old movie, a black and white movie. And
Oh,
the
okay.
AI reconstructs every single person. So everyone in the story is completely fake and based off of the movie, the old movie, the black and white movie. And
Yeah.
she is now replacing one of the characters to remake this movie. Something happens and the AI system glitches and she's stuck in this world.
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, if she's in this world for 2 months, that's maybe like 2 minutes in her real life, right?
Hmm.
And she gets stuck and begins to fall in love with someone who ultimately is fake, right?
Yeah.
But she falls in love, and I won't tell you the end how it happens or what ends up happening, but that really is the premise of it, and it reminded me of that. That's cool. That's cool.
Shit, dude. I gotta watch that now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's crazy. Just that the whole like kind of concept, like what's real and what's fake, and just what you end up choosing in between all of that.
You know, before we go to the question of the week,
Mhm.
it's really disturbing to me how many ads I'm seeing on Instagram promoting AI services for lonely men, like anime chicks or AI chicks that literally are ads to try to get sad, lonely men to subscribe to them
Mhm.
to try to have some fucking fake-o relationship with some AI bullshit. That is incredibly scary to me, dude. Do not do that, guys. If you're fucking thinking of doing that, Don't do that. Oh my God. I don't think there's anything that level. Okay. I'm not even going to say if it's up or down. I'm only just trying to say, do not do that. That is a level, I will fucking say it, of depravity. Holy shit, dude. It's crazy.
No, no, I'm with you on that one too. I guess in my head, because these things are made for an intent, and clearly the market is there. And again, I'm not trying to enable the conversation about it, but
That's
it,
another
it's
conversation.
but it is scary that when you think about, I guess, look, case in point, New York is one of the hardest places to date anybody. Like I think they say, like, I
Holy
forget,
fuck.
where, like, who told it to me, but yeah, New York City is one of the hardest places in the world to date in, considering how many people are here and people who are like swiping left consistently, right? And it's like, damn, like there are people who, I would even say guys and girls, who are unable to feel like they found a legitimate connection. But at the same time, is it a combination of whether or not you're putting yourself out there? I don't know. I wish I understood why I feel like our world's kind of suffering at this whole sense of like loneliness or disconnect from other people. So again, one thing that's becoming more prevalent, look, we just talk about like how people can just simply type in a question or ask a question to Chat GPT, and boosh, you have an answer. You have something that is instantaneous
Hey,
that provides.
ChatGPT is good shit, okay? ChatGPT is good shit.
I know. And, like in my, I guess, retrospective, a few years later of Chat GPT's existence, I like the fact that in effect, it is as strong as how much humans can put into it. So this whole AI sense of like taking over, well, it's only going to be as human as much as humans interact with it. And even then, it's like it can't, in my opinion, really evolve past that because it's so rooted in being like human based that for it to kind of accomplish something different is, again, it needs humans,
I don't
and
give
not.
a fuck, dude. Don't do that AI bullshit
No,
relationship
I'm
thing,
with
man.
you.
Ban
I'm with
that
you.
shit.
I'm
Ban
with
that.
you.
That should be bannable. This
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
there should be a law against that.
No, no, I'm with
Don't
you.
do
I
that.
just, like I said, it's just, again, it is crazy when you tell me that, because I didn't really think about that. But then sometimes, like, on Instagram, you'll see reels and just like, oh, talk to this AI bot that's like anime and yada yada yada, or this certain character, and I'm like, I don't think I'd ever click that link, but why is it showing up also on my profile? But
That is foul. A little bit. That is
yeah,
foul. But
yeah,
hey,
and
man, they're out to get you.
they're out to get you. But again, if
They're out to
you.
get everyone that's single.
Yeah. But if you're starved for attention, like, I mean, I feel like there was kind of a precedent for this to be for people who are like on OnlyFans. Like before, you used to kind of offload like those OnlyFans conversations. Like I have cousins in the Philippines who told me, yeah, like, oh yeah, we work as like, moderators for OnlyFans. As in they'll basically be having conversations with people. They're supposed to be emulating the person that they're working under. Like, I don't know, Belle Delphine. Let's use like, some random person. But they
It's
basically
definitely
be.
not them talking to Belle
Yeah, no,
Delphine.
but they
Definitely
they
not.
already had, yeah, they know, like, of course not, but at the same time, some people would be deluded into believing that. And so because that's already been set here, AI is now gonna have a market like, oh, well, why don't you talk to an AI? And this AI will be catered to you and your own likes and dislikes. Like, yeah, dude, it's the crazy thing is that is where the world is kind of heading, is just this dependency on AI for validation, for approval, for needs. And yeah, it's scary to think that like we are now replacing human connections with robotic ones.
I would rather you subscribe to an OnlyFans model than to sign up for this AI chatbot thing that they're pushing. It's scary.
Yeah. No, it the hard part is that I know there are people out there that would. I don't know what they're going through to wanting to do that, but I can only hope that they choose humans all the time, right?
I
Oh my
like how you
god.
ended that. Choose humans all the time. Yo,
Choose humans all the time.
you're fucking absolutely right. Choose humans all the time.
Dude, there's not like no, like nothing will replace humans like in
I
that
am,
regard.
yo,
In every way.
bro, I am going to say this before we go to the question of the day. I will say this. In the future, bet your ass, we will see an official sign that says made by humans. Like it's like made in the USA, made in China. It will say made by humans. 100. Believe this. Okay.
We do live in a simulation.
Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for submitting your question. We have come to the point in the show. The question of the day. Are you ready, Don?
Yeah, I'm ready.
My best friend gets weirdly competitive with me. If I buy something nice, they suddenly have to buy something better. Even in the little stuff like workout or games, they turn it into a contest.
Mhm.
Am I overthinking this, or is this one of those friendships where competition has crossed the line?
I mean, it does feel kind of petty. I mean, I have friends who I feel like kind of try to one up me all the time, right? Like, oh, it's like I got this thing. It's like, and then boosh, later they'll come out with something that's like even better. In my opinion, just to what level do you feel like it's a competition if it's legitimately a competition? Like, did you guys goad each other on? For me, I don't think it's run its course. I think you're overreacting. I'm gonna just say it flat out. I don't think like
Hmm.
it's that big of a deal.
We have a definitive answer.
Look, it's up to you to feel whether or not that you're kind of butthurt by this.
Oh,
Um,
shit.
like, if it's only a problem if you make it a problem. And ultimately, what's eating at you to feel like, oh, this person's trying to one up me every time? In fact, it, yeah, if you start acting that way in front of like other people, then they're gonna be like, oh, like now I can't share anything with like Don or Gabe because now they're just kind of raining on my parade. Like they don't want me doing this or doing that or sharing in the similar things. It's like there's always gonna be like people who are gonna be doing the same thing as you, but at the end of the day, like why let it eat at you? You should feel confident in who you are and what you're trying to be. Like, again, maybe I just have been in like a field that's saturated with people who are trying to do exactly the same thing as me. This is kind
Hmm.
of the same thing with us also. Like, there's a lot of people trying to be like on podcasts and vice versa. But I know what I put forward. I know what I try to do in my work or in my life or in my interest. And so you just gotta believe in yourself, man. Like, don't let it eat at
Who
you.
cares, bitch?
Yeah, who cares? Like, I was like, I feel like previous podcasts, I'd be like, you know what? Like, you should talk it out with your friend. Sure, if you feel like that makes it feel good, that could be something that sounds like constructive. But I think you got to work on yourself, man. Like, you got to think about what bothers you at the end of the day. And if that's something that is going to be the potential end of a friendship, you got bigger things to worry about in life, man. What about you, Gabe? What do you think about all this?
No, fully agree. Fully agree. Don't you have a lot more friends than this one friend? You're gonna have some friends that don't do this at all, that you love completely, that are just gonna be like that. But there's some friends who are gonna be like this, and it doesn't take away from their love of you, maybe per se. Hey man, if you're doing something right, people are gonna wanna copy you. I remember when we first started doing the podcast, even before that, when we first started streaming, right? It felt like we were the first ones doing that before everyone else. And that I think is a beautiful thing, right? It gets other people
Yeah.
involved. Maybe they do it better than you, maybe they don't do it better than you, but really ultimately who cares, right?
Mhm.
It's you should feel good that somebody copied you at some times or somebody's competing with you, because I find that when you get older, sometimes you want that competitive friend around you to push you to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If it gets to you, I don't know, stop being a bitch for real, because there's, yes, just like Don said, there's a lot more bigger problems, but I think you will learn to appreciate them after they're gone.
Absolutely. Dude,
Yeah.
that's true. When it comes down to things, you're always going to want to be like the best at something, right? But the only way you become the best, you can't be the sole person in the game, the sole person with skin at, anything that you're doing. Like you should always have people who are kind of like pushing and nudging you along. And as long as it's kind of like keep it friendly. Like
It's healthy
so what this
competition.
it's healthy, like,
Yes.
unless it starts getting, like, volatile or now you guys are, like, getting into fist fights, then alright, then that's probably where you probably should have that talk, but ultimately, don't let them take away what you love about what you're doing,
Big deal, big deal, big deal.
but more importantly, don't be that damn gatekeeper either. Like, I
Yeah,
just don't think it's cool either, like, then I wouldn't wanna be your friend, and I wanna be your friend in some way if we know each other, like, this is just my take, but
you're
like I said, I
definitely
wanna
right.
be your friend. We wanna be friends. Like, we all wanna be, like, cool with each other to a certain degree, but also don't ever feel like your dignity is threatened by someone who's trying to do something. And in certain cases, like, they'll be like, "Oh, like, they figured out something to do better than you." So,
Yeah,
just
I know
keep it classy.
it's so easy to get mad at that. I totally get why you would feel that way. Remember when we were doing the house parties, right? We inspired so many other house parties.
Yes,
When I was
yes.
doing the DJs, there were so many other people trying to DJ or trying to stream. I had somebody recently, and I think I talked about it in the podcast before, of my next door neighbor. He came up to me out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh my god, Gabriel, I haven't talked to you in mad long. Like, what you've been up to?" And he brought up, I was like, "You know what? I've been really doing like recently. I've been collecting a lot of like video games and like consoles." I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." He was like, "You know, when we were younger, you inspired me so much when you were playing video games and streaming that like I got really really into it." And it was kind of threw me aback a little bit, like why someone would say that, but in a way, it was nice to feel that kind of, I guess, appreciation. You know, it was just like a weird
Yeah.
moment for somebody to say that, but still, like you affect so many people, and if you, especially when you do good things, great things, you inspire other people to do things. So don't be a gatekeeper, just like Don said. Don't be a prick, because that's one of the lamest. Imagine if you were on the other side and you tried to learn what they were learning because it just so happens to be that you really enjoyed it, and then they were all of a sudden started becoming a prick with you, trying to gatekeep you. Especially in this industry, you kind of want to have all the connections. Don, what's up?
The only reason why I'm kind of just laughing at this whole deal is
Mhm.
that are you whomever asked this question, are you feeling this way because like a certain someone's involved, like you're trying to dress a certain way, look a certain or have like a certain look to yourself because you're trying to attract a certain special someone? Are you both like pitting after someone? Because then I could kind of see that, you know, the competition's getting heated because you're just like, oh shit, dude, like we're competing after the same girl, for example, right? And I could
Mm,
kind of
mm,
see
mm.
where like if that is like a factor, then you're gonna be like, are we bros or are we like fighting each other? Do we have a gentleman's agreement? I don't know. Like it's interesting when I think about these type of questions and how it's framed. And knowing that it again, back in, like, my younger years when I was in college, and then, like, you have friends who are dressing nicely, and then, again, you're gonna show up to a party, and there's always gonna be, like, girls or guys that you're gonna be, like, interested in, and, yeah, there's other people who are gonna be playing the same game as you. So, I could see where, in that respect, you'd feel a little, like, vulnerable and a little like, "Oh, shit. Is this person trying to rain on my parade?" Look, we're adults now. Play the game, and don't be brokenhearted if someone plays the game better than you. You just have to get good too.
In the streets, you know what they call that? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
The game.
Right? That's exactly what the streets say about
That's
that.
why I wanted to reflect for a quick second about like that question and that perspective because I think back on like my younger self and what I'd feel butthurt about, and I get it. Case in point, Gabe. There's a point in our lives where I don't think we were the best of friends at all. Because in a way, and I'll be like honest about this, like I envied you. I envied your charisma around certain people, and that's something in me that I'm just like, how is he so cool? How is he able to hold these
Nah,
parties
you
and
bless me too
you know
much, bro.
I know, but at the same time, I'm being honest. Like, I'm just putting myself in like similar shoes and knowing what it
Mm,
feels like, and just being at this point in my life where I'm like, I laugh at that because I know what that felt like too. And
mm.
also realizing
Same.
how trivial that is, and just it's okay that other people get into what you're into, but just be happy with yourself first, and nothing can ever bother you.
Mm. I think that was a very solid, unanimous decision. Thank you always for sending your questions to us. As we wrap up the podcast, we do want to say one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Usually, I'm talking here with Don, my co host, your co host of the Dual Cast. But today, I'm talking to you. We're going to do that all over again. We're gonna do that all over again. Okay. Usually, I'm talking to my good friend, your co host of the Dual Cast, Don, right? But today, we're talking to you. And we want to let you know that the Dual Cast is looking for our first permanent female lead.
As much as Gabe and I can give our takes on it, we are guys and we want to have a female's touch perspective just to help balance out the conversation.
If you look at the description, it does say, hey, you're one of the boys now, but we never had it to be intentional that this was going to be a guy centric podcast. And now we're looking for someone to fill that third role.
And a female's perspective, I think, adds so much more to the conversation. Hit us up on our socials and just let us know if you're interested.
Thank you so much. If you listen to the very end, you know we love it when you send us questions. So check out in the description. And if you're interested again in being our first female lead, let us know in our DMs. We hope to see you again next week. Mad love to you.